I was in Afghanistan. I told you I was in Afghanistan. I didn't know much about Nepal. And then I sneaked in a restricted area already. And I got caught by the army, sent back to Kabul. I was in northern Afghanistan, sent back to Kabul. And one of the big things in my life was when, at 18 years of age, I came to Kabul. I tried to Kabul. I got to Kabul. I bought 2 horses with a German friend of mine, a gun, and I crossed Afghanistan on horseback, and I was 18. And that's when suddenly everything shifted in my life. That's when I just thought, wow, life is something very interesting. It's crazy, it's mad, I was 18 on horseback with a gun in my pocket, and I was crossing the wild Hindu Kush, the wild mountain with nomads. I didn't even have a tent. We would sleep outside, and it was just total freedom, and that's when I started to take pictures. Then I go to jail. And they give me 3 days to get out of Afghanistan. So I just thought, okay, I go back to France to do my military service. I didn't feel like doing my military service, so much. So I just thought, okay, let's go east. So I went to Pakistan. I went to India. I got to Varanasi. And I had an interesting time in Varanasi, which is a fantastic place. And I met this French guy, and he was a mountain climber and things like that. And he says, hey, Nepal is next door. Why don't we go to Nepal? So we hitchhiked to Nepal, and we got onto a Tata truck full of cotton, big cotton bags. So we got onto this truck, and then we drove up and up and up and up. In 1972, I think, something like that. And then it was bloody cold, and we were in our sleeping bag outside of on top of this cotton stuff. And then one time I get out of the sleeping bag, it was evening light, and I looked at, I don't know where I was, and I looked at this valley with these thousands of terraces, and these white and ochre houses with a thatch roof, the grass roof, and the Himalaya in the background, and I just thought, where am I? It's incredible. Then we got to Kathmandu at night. We crashed into an hotel somewhere. No. Next morning I get up early, and then I find myself in Kastamanda, the market, the japus, and everybody dressed in traditional dress, this incredible architecture. And I just thought, wow, guys, where am I? I had my shoes stolen on the way. I had my trekking boots stolen on the way. I had very little money, and my shoes were stolen. And so I was in a kind of canvas shoes, and nobody has the size I have, in India or something. So I had the toe cut, my toes were coming out. And so if I wanted to go trekking, I had to find shoes, So I went to the only trekking shoe shop, which was not very far from Hanumandoka on the way to Tamil, which didn't exist at the time, Tamil. So anyway, it was a trekking shop. There I met 2 American girls, and I was with one of them this morning. And I fell in love with your country, and with one of the 2 girls. And I did my first trek, and I found my shoes. I found my shoes.
You had that.
Okay, yeah. It's kind of funny, because Beyond the Cloud just came out on French TV. And it was very nicely received and things like that. And I get a phone call from one of my school friends when I was a cabinet maker, studying cabinet maker, and I hadn't seen the guy for 48 years.
Oh my God.
So he calls me and he says, you remember me? I don't remember him, but anyway. I say, okay, great. Let's have lunch, So we meet in Paris. He doesn't live in Paris, but he's in Paris. We meet in Paris, and we have lunch together. And I remember him. He showed me all pictures of the time when I was a kid. I was 17 or something. No, 16 or something. And then he looks at me and he says, I've followed you, because he had most of my books and he had seen most of my films. And he said, you are not like me, you followed your dreams. And how did you do that? Wow. Heavy stuff, How did I do that? How did I follow my bloody, messy, crazy dreams? And then I thought about it. It was creepy, and I was silent for a while, and I told him, I had no other ways. I had no other ways. If I had not followed my dreams, I would have been a drug addict, a murderer, a rapist, a bank robber, I don't know. I would have died. There were no bloody other ways. I would, if I had not followed this, many times we talk about philosophy or whatever here now, but many times I have the feeling that I am not me. Inside of me there is somebody much more powerful than me who just pushes me into this crazy situation. And when I am really down, which happens more often than I would like, there is this strength in me who just say, Eric, bloody go for it, trust yourself, go there. And you fail this time, but go again and go again. And until I die, that's how it's going to happen. No choice.
Thank you, sir. That was
Good
really,
luck,
really,
my dear.
I'm humbled. Thank you so much. Thank you.